All right. Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Um, Sorry for the late start. I totally lost track of time. So if you guys, well, the breakout here doesn't look very good anyway. So I mean the whole market in general didn't look very good. I was kind of doing like analysis of this and I just totally lost track of time. But you guys didn't really miss out on much on the breakout specifically, so maybe it was good that we started a minute late because the breakout over here was extreme on both ends, as you guys can see. So the breakout over here kind of spiked up about, like 60 points, and then it spiked down like 60 points. So yeah, maybe it was good that you guys missed the breakout. It was a little intense. Hey, Masish, I'm here today, so bot should actually run. Yeah, no, good to see you here. Morning, Maria. Morning, Karen. Morning, Steven. Morning, everybody. Steven said yesterday was terrible in both directions. You can get stopped out. Yeah, no, the market was pretty, I mean, it's pretty choppy right now. You guys can see this is why I was kind of like not really paying attention very much because I was looking to see like why was it so choppy right here, right? Between like 5:30 and market open. We did have news over here at 5:30 specifically. I think it was PPI, so we had producer price index at 5:30. It didn't really have, I mean, it had an effect right here, dropped maybe like 100 points, and then the news was positive. So it's kind of unusual, right, to see it kind of drop like that super heavily. So the PPI news happened right here and it dropped a total of like 300 points. And then now it looks like it's trying to correct back up. So I'll be looking for my scalps here in between. Yeah, I'll be looking for my scalps in between. And then maybe a little later, I'll be looking for some possible, um, possible daily entry. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens here in a few. We don't have any structure here or any liquidity created, so we got some time. Basically, look for a couple of these. I see some no weird power issues. Okay, so I wonder what happened with your bot then at that time. So it was weird. Did it just not take any entries at all, Misty, or it was off? Yeah, it's happened twice for you now so far, right? So it's kind of unusual. All right, so let's see what we got. It didn't take any, and my PC was just reset. Oh, weird. Yeah, that is weird. Maybe like a short fuse. Maybe just yeah, power surge. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, most likely. That's what I'm always worried about. I'm gonna get like a power surge. So I was thinking about getting like a surge protector, but I honestly haven't had a power surge since I was like in high school when I used to like my gaming PC and I play video games on my PC. I haven't really had a power surge since then, so I don't really feel the need to have one. But I do see the need for it just in case. I mean, you run like what, like 14 monitors, so maybe you might need it. Yeah, Missy said, well, my house is kind of old. It's built 1930, so before the big fire. That makes sense. Yeah, I think that was the thing too. Because like back in high school, I lived in an old house as well. My house now, I live in a pretty new one, so everything's kind of modern and stuff is efficient. That makes sense. I could see that happening. Yeah, I didn't really think about that. Old electrical issues. All right, guys. So we have market open right now. There's not really too much going on. You guys can see prices pretty much in this chop down the middle. There's like literally nothing going on. There's no liquidity being created, so there's nothing to take right now at the moment. Here, I'll go ahead and mark up some structure. This is a clean chart. So as you guys know, I'm looking for liquidity levels to be established so that I can take some break and retest off these liquidities. You weren't here yesterday, Masij. So what I mentioned to people and what we did yesterday with our entry is I'm still following the break and retest pattern. That we've been looking for. I've been using different types of structures for the break and retest, but for now, I'm using mainly the liquidity. So there's basically three different main structures that I was using for break and retest. I was using high lows, right? So like a price broke and closed past the higher high, I'd look for a retest to that level and I'd climb it up higher. Or other than that, I was also using the SR, which is support and resistance, just automatically plotted with my indicator. So I was also using this to do like zone to zone. But so in a market like this, see how there's no zones down here? There's probably not going to be any zones because price pushed down so far, right? So in a situation like this, there just wouldn't be any entries. So the third structure that I've decided to use or that I found to be a lot more useful was liquidity because liquidity comes up pretty often, but I'm using at least three liquidity to confirm. So I'm not using every liquidity level, but I'm looking for three different liquidity levels to establish within this time frame. 6:30 and 7:15. So for example, here there's no liquidity created, but if we do get liquidity created to the top side and price pushes up like that, and we have three levels of liquidity that, establishes right here, establishes right here, and establishes right here. In a situation like that, I'll try to catch the retest of that third liquidity. The good thing about using this liquidity here, just thinking logically, is that it helps us identify market regime and market direction all in one, right? Typically for the SR zones, they're good for identifying ranging markets when price is kind of ranging back and forth between two structures. And then same with the higher high and the lower lows, right? I could use the higher highs and lower lows to identify basically support and resistance that hasn't been fully established yet, to identify, where price is bouncing from. But that's not really what I'm looking for. I'm looking for price to move up and continue for price to come down and continue. And that's why I'm using the liquidity here to identify those directions. Also, I'm not using previous liquidity. You can see the old liquidity here is getting retested. I'm only using new liquidity that's established between 6:30 and 7:15. So that's basically what I'm doing, guys. If you guys are new here, if you guys weren't here yesterday, same pattern that I've been applying forever, basically. This pattern applies for all strategies. Right, this pattern applies for MPS V2, this applies for MPS, momentum scalp, pivot scalp, etc. It's the same exact pattern, it's just using different structure to identify the retest. And I'm using these types of structure because I need to use limit orders for my entries. I'm starting to increase my sizing and volume on the hedge fund, guys. We're having more and more clients join in, so I have to use limit orders. I think every time a new client comes in, we're increasing by like maybe 3 to 6 contracts. So that is what I am using now. All right, so let's see. I'm going to see here took a higher high reversal stop loss, negative 1.5 R, also up 9 contracts per account. So 54 contracts. My fills are getting a bit weird. Yeah, because you're entering at market, right, Masish? I could see that. That's when I started to notice it too. When I started getting up to like, I think above 30 contracts, that's when I started to see like, okay, I need to use limit orders because the fills are just they're not good. The thing with YM is that it's a thinner book. So it's a thinner book compared to ES and NQ because more people trade ES and NQ. Um, so it's harder to get, I guess, even fills. Yeah, no, I agree with you too. Masish said he can't do limits though, it adjusts too fast. Yeah, I agree. Because if you do limits, you're just gonna miss the order, right? Sometimes it pushes up, doesn't even pull back at all. Or sometimes it pulls back and it just reverses and you're like, you're fucked. Because it's just, yeah, the market orders that they're tough to use when you have more volume, specifically on like a live account. If you're trading with Apex or any type of prop firm, really no biggie because you're on a simulated market, but when you're trading a live market, it's different. The fills are a lot more difficult to get more properly. Let's see. Eagle said 2 questions regarding yesterday's 60 plus trade. You traded big size. How much past limit entry does price have to trade to get filled on all? Um, I mean, we were exactly on the dot yesterday, so I didn't really have to, like, I mean, I'm using an institutional broker, so it gives me exactly what I need. If, I mean, typically it just depends on the volatility, right? If the volatility is really low, then you probably need an extra point or two to get them all filled. But the area that I was trading, this is another reason why I like trading liquidity because when I trade liquidity, there's a lot of liquidity sitting there, right? There's a lot of volume sitting here. It's not like a random structure. So there's always going to be orders there to be filled. So for me personally, using liquidity just goes hand in hand with what I'm applying. Because if you're using higher highs, you might not have a bunch of liquidity sitting there. But when you have liquidity, like an actual liquidity zone, there's actual liquidity just hanging out there. So it's ready to just get filled when price gets to that point. Um, so I mean, I took a screenshot of the trade from yesterday. I didn't really, it was like literally on the dot. Let's see, not this one, this one. Yeah, it was like literally on the dot. Like I didn't even have any room. It didn't even pull back like 1 point and it filled all of my contracts. Got in with like 200 contracts, I think. So, I mean, it's not always going to be the same because we had the same type of entry happen last week and I only filled for, yeah, like I think where was it? It was one of these entries here somewhere. But yeah, last week on the 6th, it was on the dot as well, and it only filled one contract. So I can't say exactly for sure, like right here on the 10th. I don't know exactly for sure because every market's always slightly different. The thing with on the 10th is I wasn't using liquidity for my entry. That's why it was probably really thin around that area. So maybe that's why I didn't get filled, all of them. For that one, I think I was
And I,
applying the MPS or a high-low break and retest off like a higher high or something like that. So there just wasn't a lot of liquidity there. So maybe it's different because I'm trading with liquidity, but yesterday I didn't, it was exactly on the dot. It just touched it and it filled all the contracts. Um, but then it was a different story last week. So short answer to your question is probably give it maybe a maybe a 1 to 5 point leeway. But if it's an area where it's not super thin, then it should be able to get filled. Yesterday was very volatile too, so I think it was just able to fill them all at once. Second question is if the stop had been hit, there'd be slippage due to stop market, right? Yeah, exactly. Because the stop, well, I mean, it depends. For me, I can use a stop limit order. It depends on your broker. Some of your brokers don't allow that, right? Some brokers will only give you a stop market order, where if the stop gets touched, it turns into a market order. For my broker, I can use stop limits, but I would use a stop order. So yes, there would be some slippage. I wouldn't use a limit. It's like because if you use a limit, you could get even worse price uh for a stop. So yeah, Eagle. Answer to your first question is depends on the time of your entry in the market and liquidity at that time or volume at the time. And answer to your second question is yes, you'll have some slippage when your stop gets filled because it's not a limit order. It is a technically it's a market if touched. It's an MIC order. But some people will call it a stop order. Some people will call it, it's the same thing. It's just if it gets touched, it turns into a market. Let's see. Masih said, I got to figure out what to do because even on the institutional broker fills are still thin. Yeah. I mean, they're still thin. The only difference well, the main difference with the institutional side is that you'll be straight to liquidity. So your order won't be rerouted. You'll get directly like as soon as you enter. Um, Yeah, because they're not going through like third parties. Like I think NinjaTrader, they don't clear anymore. So when you order a trade on NinjaTrader, they actually route your order somewhere else and then it gets filled there or it gets cleared there. So yeah, I mean you're always gonna have issues with market orders in general, CJ. I think it's if you start to add more size, it's just gonna be more and more difficult. That's why for me I had to make a big change um because I knew as I got bigger and bigger, the market orders just wouldn't work unless I was going for a huge target. Right. I think a market order for like a 150 point move or something like that could work. But yeah, going for like 30 points or 60 points, it's kind of hard because you already eat up a lot of that slippage with your actual entry. Yeah, Masij said might have to start dividing contracts up to ES and NQ. Yeah, because there's more volume on those books. Those books aren't as thin. iPhone said I thought you were going to use block orders for your hedge. Um, Yeah, I mean, I've been using block orders. iPhone, that's the only orders I've been using. Uh, did you think it was something else? I mean, that's the only way I could enter these orders. They have to be, that's why I'm entering with 200 contracts because they're in a big block order. That's not one account. It's all of the accounts that are executing one block order. Let's see. Masih said I'm going to need another Mac then. LOL, my two other already fried from running the bot and all the monitors. Yeah, that's going to take up a lot of resources, of course. That's why for me, I have to do everything like completely separate. Like I have everything on my, now that I'm thinking back on it, I was like initially I wanted to do everything on one Mac, right? Like my analysis, live stream, execute orders. It actually makes sense now that I'm doing everything on a different computer because it just takes up so much resource to run all this stuff at once. Even if you have like a super Mac, it would still take up a lot of resources. All right, so there's nothing here yet, guys. We have a liquidity here, which is established. It's just one. It's going to be mitigated right now if price pushes above, and it just, there you go. It just mitigated right now. So again, this is another reason why I like using liquidity as my structure or just my confirmation. Because if there's no liquidity on either end, you can directly tell that market's in a chop. I mean, I can tell market's in a chop just by looking at it, but if there's no levels here that are pushing up or no levels that are pushing down, you can already tell that there's no direction here at the moment. So right now we have a bullish liquidity here, which is currently pending. Um, yeah, we have a bullish liquidity here, which is currently pending. I'm looking for more bullish liquidity to push up higher and higher and higher so I can ride this up with it. If we get multiple bullish liquidity, which pushes up, then this will identify that price is bullish and that momentum is pushing to the upside. And then vice versa, if we have liquidity pushing to the downside, it's going to be the opposite. But we just don't have that yet. We have one level here, so I'll be waiting for the next ones to establish. iPhone said, just curious, I thought block orders would help with slippage and fills. Um, yeah, I mean, sort of, it sort of does because you're put instead of, so the problem with applying different accounts is that when you hit, like, for example, if you're entering with a copier, they all hit buy at the same time, right? So like, or so they're not at the same time. They all hit buy like maybe a millisecond away from each other. With the block orders, it helps because you're putting one big order at once, right? So all your orders go into the market at one time. So they're all equal. So yeah, they do help with slippage a little bit, but your order type, it depends on your order type. If you're entering with a limit order, you're saying, like, for example, if you enter with limit order right here, you're telling the broker, I'm only going to enter at this price, right? Only at this price. So if you can't get me in at 170 or 47, 156, don't get me in at all. Um, and if you're in a block order, your orders have priority, right? Because they all get in at the same time. When you're using a copier and you're telling a broker like, get me in here, get me in here, you got to think about you're competing with all these other retail traders, right? Like you're not just one account that's like, okay, I'm gonna put all these orders in. You're entering with like 20 accounts and you're like, and everyone's in has their line in place. They have their place in line basically. But when you're doing a block order, it's just one huge order and it's just you. And if the broker sees like, oh, this person, Sean, has like 200 contracts, we're going to fill this guy first before we fill everyone else because he's already in line and he has all these contracts. So that's why they're different if you're doing a block versus individual. Because if you're an individual, you're just like, you think about your 200 people in line, just chilling. Like, all right, one person's first in line, one person's at the back, one person's in the middle. You're not all going to be equal, right? You're going to be served at different times. But when you enter with a block order and you're in the front, you get all of your, like whatever volume is available at the time. Does that make sense, iPhone? So yeah, block orders do help because you get your place in line all together, but there's still going to be slippage either way. Like, you got to think about it. If you're entering a buy here, you have to have someone on the sell side to take your order. If there's nobody on the sell side, like say, for example, you put a limit order right here, right? But there's no orders, there's no volume here, and no one's going to take your order till down here. This is where you get screwed because you get filled here, but then there's no more orders here to fill, so you get only one contract. A price would have to pull a little lower to get a fill there, a fill there, a fill there, and then once you get all the fills, then you're in. So it's That's how it'll work. But yes, short answer to your question is yes, block orders do help because it lets you put everything in at once. Yeah. Steven said it's like waiting in line for Chipotle. Yeah, literally that's what it is, right? Masih said great analogy. Yeah, because if you're in line at Chipotle, you guys have been there. If you guys have been to Chipotle before, you guys know the line gets freaking crazy long, like around lunchtime, right? If there's someone in the front and they're ordering orders for the whole, like all their coworkers, right? You have one person in the front, he's ordering like 60 burritos. Like they're gonna serve him first versus you who is in the back of the line. So yes, yes, Stephen, good analogy with that there. Yeah, and it might help too with your market orders, Masish, when you move on to StoneX. So let me know whenever you're ready to use StoneX. Because same thing what I mentioned with iPhone. Like I think the problem with yours too, Masish, is you're trading six different accounts, right? So you're getting in at six different places when you hit market. And with those six different places, you have a lot of contracts, right? I think, what'd you say, six contracts each? So everyone comes in with like six burritos, like I'm number one, I'm number two, I'm number five, I'm number 10 or whatever. When you're with one block order, you come in and you just put all the orders in at once. Yeah, exactly. So that's tough. You're going in with six live accounts and you're doing nine contracts each. It's hard to get all of them filled at proper pricing. Yeah. And then also you're not getting priority fills because you're on the retail side on TradeStation. I'm sure TradeStation clears their own trades. Maybe they might, maybe they don't. But yeah, on the retail side, you guys are like you're still second in line. Like if there's an institutional trader in front of you, they're gonna get the fill first. Yeah. No, I agree. TradeStation is still better than Ninja for sure. Even though I haven't used them, I know that they're better. They've been around a pretty long time. Because Ninja's kind of went downhill. I mean, if you guys have seen Ninja, they've kind of lined themselves with prop firms. They're not really much. I mean, they're still a live broker, but they're more aligned with working with prop firms now. Like they've changed their whole business model because they can just milk all these prop firms for free money basically than retail traders. So if you guys have looked, Uh, I mean, I've been following Ninja Trader for a long time. I know executives at Ninja Trader. I've had my issues with Ninja Trader. Their business model is totally different now from where it was like 10, 20 years ago. Ninja Trader used to be a pretty big broker that focused on institutional trading and live trading, but now Ninja Trader pretty much and Tradeovate they run all the prop firms. So it's just a different business move. They got bought out like a couple years ago, so it made sense. You get bought out by another company, they're going to make all these changes, and then the whole company model changes with it. And this market is dead. There's nothing. There's like literally nothing going on right now. It's about to be 7 o'clock, guys. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to have any scalps here. Again, like I said, I was looking for price to push up and continue climbing up. Even if price pushed up at this point, we have a session sitting right here, so I don't even know if I'll be able to get anything up there. And then vice versa, price pushes down, we might have better opportunity, honestly, because we only have one session right here. We have the London low. But if price pushes up, we have the Asia high, or I don't know if it's Asia low or Asia high. And we have the New York high right here. Actually, no, this is Asia low, and this is the New York low, I think. Yeah, so we're at the very lows right now. We're pretty low at the moment. But I mean, we're just in some chops, so there's just nothing to do here, nothing to do, nothing to take. Here's a clean chart. I'll mark up some more structure right here. Oh, there's nothing. Let's see. Eagle said for strategies that require fast fills at market, look into TWAP market order. You set the MS delay between the order slices. Okay. I don't know if are you familiar with that, Masish? I don't know about TWAP market orders. I've never heard of that. I'm curious now. TWAP market order. Time-weighted average price market order is an algorithmic trading strategy that splits a large order into smaller equal-sized chunks, executing them at regular time intervals over a set period of time. This approach minimizes market impact, reduces slippage when buying and selling a large positions. Okay. I've never seen this before. Actually, no, I've seen it before, but I just didn't know what it was. It's a specific order type. Okay. So it's supported by like interactive brokers. Makes sense. Okay, cool. Yeah. So I guess basically it's you're able to like it just kind of splits the order up so it gets you better fills. Yeah, market. Yeah, Message says just a way of spreading your orders over time period at different levels. Yeah, no, I agree. It would work for, I mean, if you don't need to get in right away, but it wouldn't work for like what we're doing or what Message is doing at least, because you got to get it at that time. You can't just like like let a bunch of orders kind of sit around to get filled. Yeah, no, I agree with you. Message said not for me, but it might work for you, Sean, on the daily. Yeah, if it's a bigger order, like the daily entry, we're going for like a big move, like 150 to 75. In a situation like that, yeah, because I can just put that type of order sitting there and then it'll kind of just fill. It's the same as a limit order basically, because it's just hanging out, trying to get the best fills around this area. But for like the bot, it's not going to work because you got to get in right away. So I'm going to use this as an example. Look at this candle right here. So I know there's no entry over here, but if this was an entry like for an MPS, there's no like you have to get in right there and then you'll just get slippage as price comes down lower. There's no way of getting in with anything that's waiting or like that needs to be filled over time because it never comes back. So you'd end up just getting even shittier fills because you'd get in like right there and if you waited a little bit, the price is like way down here already. So yeah, no, thanks Eagle for the heads for the input on that, but unfortunately, I don't think it will work for what we're doing, especially like with these orders because they happen too fast. Like here's like another example right here. If you look at these candles, like the ones that have no wick, they don't pull back at all. So like you'd have to just get in at the close and then write it down. Um, for a bigger trade, yeah, maybe it'd work. Like if I was trading on the 10-minute or the 5-minute or something where like price was kind of bouncing around a bit. But since we're doing this on the one, a lot of times price runs away from us, right? I think last week for the past month or so, we tried to I mean, we got screwed with the daily entry a couple of times. We tried to get into the daily entry and then it just ran away, never came back for the fill. So yeah, it's time is of the essence with our style of trading because we need to get in exactly when momentum's there. And again, this is another reason why I've kind of shifted back to the 1 minute because the 10 minutes cool if you're using a daily entry where it takes a while for it to play out and fill or work out. But with the one, like these scalps that we're taking, like you got to get in right away. You can't even think about it because if you think you put too much time thinking into the position, you're going to get destroyed or you're just not going to be able to get into it. All right, guys, we have one level of liquidity here again. We have levels of liquidity on both ends, but there's just no direction. Price is still kind of sitting in this area. Here's the 1 minute chart. I drew structure here just to show you guys price isn't going anywhere, but you can already tell just by eyeballing it that there's nothing there. I mean, even Messi here is not able to get into anything at all. So you just took that one trade today so far, right, Messi? The higher high reversal. Or maybe it looks like there might have been other higher high and lower low reversals here as well. I don't know if you got into this one right here. This one looks like it could have played out. Big wick right there. The body was kind of huge though, so maybe not. But this looked like it could have been a pretty nice, or it might have been stopped out depending on where your stop loss was. Yeah, it's just too choppy. Okay, nice. Yeah, so Masija over here got the lower low reversal for TP for 2R. So you took two of them right there. He's now at zero point 0.5R plus for the day. All right, well, that's good. I mean, as long as you're back in profit, that's good. It's a key thing, right? Okay. Let's see. Joe's asking if you say scalping on the 1 minute, what time frame would you use for bias? I mean, I don't really use any other time frames. I just use the one. If the market's choppy like this, I'll go up to the 10 to kind of see if there's any direction there, but there is no direction either way. See, the thing with trading on the 1 minute, I feel like this is a propaganda that's always posted on the internet. I always see people talk about, oh, you need a higher time frame uh bias, right? It's total bullshit, bro, because if you're trading on the 1 minute, it doesn't matter what's happening on these higher time frames most of the time, right? Everything the like if you're trading on a higher time frame, like maybe 10 minute, okay, bias could maybe make sense. But on the 1 minute, the bias doesn't really matter, guys. Like I just use momentum. I trade directly on momentum. I feel like there's a lot of like information out there telling you that you need a higher time frame bias on the 1 minute, but realistically, it wouldn't even matter because the trend is always shifting on the 1 minute, right? Like look at this right here. If you had a whatever, like for example, if you wanted to use a 10-minute trend and you're only looking for sells, or it's 10-minute bias and you're looking for sells here, you get screwed because price pushes up here and you get stopped out either way. Or if you wanted to go on a higher time frame, like we'll say, well, I mean, they're all bearish right now. So this is a clear example of like why the upper level bias doesn't matter too much because 4 hour, 1 hour, 30 minute, it's all bearish, right? Yeah, it's good to have a bias, but I mean, I've been trading the 1 minute for how many years now? I've been trading the 1 minute for like the 1 minute strictly for like almost 12 years now, 10 to 12 years. And I've realized over time that the trend doesn't really matter or the bias doesn't really matter on the higher time frames. Trust me, I was like one of those people that thought, okay, I need to have everything lined up 4 hour, 1 hour, 30 minute, 10, 5, whatever. And I would only look for trades in that direction. And a lot of times the trade would still stop me out and that would piss me off because I'm like, oh, I'm looking for sells here. And what happens is price ends up going for a sell and then it just spikes you out the other way. So yeah, on the 1 minute, there's a lot of noise, like what Masij mentioned. So you don't really need a higher time frame bias. If you really wanted a higher time frame bias, I would just look at the 10, probably the 10 or the 5. I actually closed the window here. I had a window. Oh, here we go. I still have it here. So I would use this just to have some sort of confluence, right? The 1, 5, and 10. The higher time frames are like not going to really help you out too much. Like, don't even bother looking on like the 4, 1, or 30 minute. If you're trading on the 10 minute, different story because this moves kind of slow, but everything else, not so much. There's just too much noise on the 1 minute. But the thing with the noise on the 1 minute is that if you can read the noise and you can follow momentum, you can take advantage of it, right? Like I think, let me see the entry from yesterday. So the entry that we took yesterday. Or like here's another example for the daily, right? For the daily, the bias was bullish, but we it was a sell. And look how it still played out perfectly. Right? This is why I don't really look at bias anymore. There was a time period where yeah, bias, I was brainwashed and I thought, okay, bias is like 1000% necessary. But I realized that the bias doesn't even matter, guys. Honestly, if you're trading on the 1 minute, look at the 10 minute right here. This was completely against bias, right? Because bias here should have been bullish. But I took the sell here was for the daily and it still played out perfect. It pushed for 150 points. This isn't a small move. This is a big move. And same with our entry from yesterday, right? So our entry from yesterday was a sell right here. See, the bias was bullish yesterday, but see how I caught this? It was a perfect entry with no drawdown because there was a shift in trend on the 1 minute. But if I followed the bias on the 10 and 5, I would have been screwed because the 10 was bullish and the 5 was bullish. And if I would have avoided that sell entry because my bias was bullish, then I would have totally missed this trade and I would have missed out on all this profit yesterday. So you just have to understand how to read the market depending on like what you're trading. If you're strictly a 1 minute trader, I would say focus on momentum, focus on market structure, order flow if you can. I mean, I don't like using order flow. I personally don't use order flow. I just like looking at momentum off the candlestick charts. But if you want to use an analysis for Here's the caveat. So I say not to use a bias, but if you want to use market profile, this actually does help. So if you really, really, really feel you need the bias, like some people they need it, right? That's just how they trade. I would use 30-minute market profile because this can kind of tell you where price is rejecting from, where it's going to push to, and where it's going to aim for next. So. Yeah, for the most part, I would say you don't really need much of a bias on the 1 minute, especially for my trading window right here, right? My trading window is between 6:30 and 7:15 for my scalps. So you got to think about it. If you have a bias between this period, it's going to be almost impossible to it's going to be almost impossible to confirm it, right? Because you're going to avoid trades that you should probably not avoid in a sense. Let's see what we got here. So we have one level of liquidity here, guys. I mean, price isn't doing anything right now, so it's super choppy. Um, so I'd probably sit back and wait still. Oh, see, what did you do? Let's see, you sent a super. He was trying to send an emoji. Oh, you know what? Because I see that they added that dollar sign next to it now. That dollar sign wasn't there before. You probably clicked the dollar instead of the emoji sign next to it. But yeah, guys, I mean, take my advice or don't take my advice. I'm just telling you how I see it and how I view the market. Um, And the thing with me is I've been trading YM every day for 12 years now. So every day, 6:30 to 8. I just understand how YM moves. If you ask me the same question about NQ or ES, I probably wouldn't be able to answer your question. My analysis probably wouldn't apply to those because I don't trade them. But from my experience trading YM, I started to realize on the 1 minute that, well, I didn't start to realize, I've realized this over time that the bias doesn't really matter very much. It could help, but a lot of times the bias can be more detrimental than helpful, right? Because if you're so focused, like I always tell people, don't be married to a position, right? Or don't be married to a direction. Because if you're only looking for buys like the entire day, you're like, oh, I'm only looking for buys. There could be a nice sell entry that you totally missed because you overlooked it based on your bias. So yeah, use the 1 minute for bias. If you want to use the trend, you can see how it shifts back and forth here on the one. That's perfectly fine. You can identify your bias on here. If you want to identify market structure, right? I can draw market structure. I mean, if I drew it here, it's going to be messy, but see, it's like it's super messy here. But you can identify market structure on the 1 minute. You can literally do everything on the 1 minute. It's just harder for some people because you have to be a lot faster with your analysis. For me here, it's not as hard because I created my own tools, right? So my liquidity here, I don't have to go and draw liquidity every time it comes up. It just comes up for me because I have my own tools. Same with the momentum, right? We have a momentum signal here. I don't have to draw momentum every time up or I and identify it or analyze it because I already have it. Um, Yeah, all this stuff is visualization stuff, Rez. So all the tools I created are just to make things easier for me to analyze and identify. Because imagine having to draw the trend or identify the trend and then also marking up liquidity and marking up structure and the high lows and time periods and stuff like that. Before I used to do all this stuff by hand and it was impossible. Now that I have my tools since I've had my tools, it made things so much easier. Market right now is crazy, guys. I'm looking at the depth of market on StoneX, and there's a ton of volume here. Like where price is currently at right now in the middle, there's a shit ton of volume. So I would be very careful about your entries because there's no direction. And if you enter any positions within here, you're probably gonna get chopped out. Because I'm looking right now, like the bell curve of volume here is very, very high. Basically at the support level right here, there's a ton of volume, and the resistance level over here, there's a ton of volume. So let me go over here to this chart. So you can see I do analysis on the 1 minute, but on different charts. So I have one that's just clean with market structure. I have one with like my tools. I have one with like different types of things. Um, but yeah, it looks like price is finally attempting to break below. It's 710 right now, so I don't think we're gonna have an entry for the scalp guys. I, I'm I mean it's fine. I don't care too much because you can see this chop here anyways. I wouldn't want to be looking for anything here to begin with. So you guys can see market is extremely choppy, but the ATR is really high. So there's a lot of volume, there's a lot of volatility. It's just no direction. Each candle here is huge. It's like a 60-point candle right there. Let's see. Masij said, doubt I'm gonna get anything post profits now. Minus $2. I don't even know where that money goes, Masij. Like, because I never get supers. That's why, like, when you sent it, it said, let's celebrate the third super on a live stream. I don't even know where that $2 goes to. Maybe it'll probably send over to my AdSense. I think that's what it would do, right? Yeah. I think it'll just get sent to the stream, and then when I do stuff like the YouTube Premium stuff, it just goes over to the AdSense. Let's see. T says, seems choppy until we get FOMC. Yeah, guys. So a heads up today. I already kind of figured price was going to be a little choppy today because of FOMC. Not this choppy, but yes, very choppy. So today is FOMC. We had PPI in the morning. I was expecting price to maybe correct up because it was all bullish, but price dumped like 300, 400 points. And then we have FOMC later today. It's going to be a pretty big FOMC, guys. Everyone's looking to see what Powell does. This is Powell's last term, I think. Yeah. So the Fed issues its latest interest rate decision Wednesday. Here's what to expect. Markets are pricing near zero chance they'll be cutting. Yeah, I don't think they're going to cut interest rates, or they might increase interest rates. Honestly, I saw the news and it said that like here, let me see what it forecasted. They actually don't even have a forecast. Oh no, it is right here. So they're forecasting it to stay the same. So from my personal opinion, I think it's either going to stay the same or it's going to go up. Maybe a little bit, like temporarily. It'll most likely stay the same. But that's probably why a lot of people are kind of just waiting. So we have the interest rate coming out later today at 11:30, I believe, my time, or 11 o'clock my time. Yeah, a lot of people are curious. I mean, I'm curious too, but we'll see. Okay, no scalps for me today, guys. As you guys can see, price is finally breaking below. My cutoff for entry is 715. I'll keep looking. So what I've noticed and what I've realized over time is that if the market's super choppy right here, eventually there's going to be an expansion, right? And it looks like the expansion is starting to happen here. But I'm going to stick to my rules. My rules is my cutoff is 715. So nothing happens from now until then I'm not going to take anything. The next thing I'll be looking for would be the daily entry, which even so, I don't think I even want to take the daily entry because it's dropped down so far. Man, the entry is coming up like literally at 715. I'm not going to take it though. If you guys want to get into it, I'll mark it up for you guys. But yeah, the entry is coming up literally at 715, guys. It's a 27-point zone, so this does work. I'm not willing to take that risk. Like I said before, I'm sticking to my rules. So, all right, if you guys want to take this right here, the entry is going to be you got to wait for the candle to close, but it's looking like it's going to be at 962 if you're looking for that retest. So I'll mark it up for you guys there. If you want to take it at your own risk. I'll follow it with you guys, but I'm probably not going to get into this here. Okay. So there goes the entry. Entry is going to be limit order at 961, 961, 962, somewhere around there. All right, that's my cutoff, guys. So I'm done for the day. Well, I'm not done for the day, but I'm done with my scalps. So I'll follow up for you guys here. The reason why I stopped trading at 715 is because this is like usually where the market chop starts to happen. The problem is the market chop has already been happening, and the expansion is actually starting here. Typically, the expansion would happen in the beginning, right? The expansion would happen between 6:30 and 7 o'clock to 7:15. But today it was different. It was been choppy since pre-market. So from 5:42 until now, it's been just in this back and forth chop. So, all right, the trade is running right here, guys. If you were looking to, it's running in profit. This was the break and retest right there off liquidity. Again, I'm not in the position, so take it at your own risk. It's running in profit. Let's see, it's up about 10, 12 points right now. Again, this is a reminder of why I don't trade after 7:15. See how now it's flat? This is what I normally see at this point, and this is why Masih stops trading at 7:15 as well. So he turns the bot off around this time. Let's see, Masih said if he cuts again for the third time, stuff's going to go crazy. I doubt he will. He's already leaving, so he doesn't have to listen to Trump. Yeah, I'm hoping he raises as well. It's better for the economy. It's better for us to recover. I mean, it's not like I need it. Like, I'm not taking out any loans anytime soon, so I'm not affected by it. Let me see the home loan interest rate. I know the home loan interest rate went up though. Yeah, so I think the 30-year went up for the home loan interest rate. It's up to like 6.29, 30-year fixed. It's pretty high. Yeah, it's pretty high. So I saw people talking about that yesterday. All right, so Masij has posted his profits. Nice work, Masij. So Masij said March 18th, small day. Took one higher high, lower low reversal loss and a win for a total of 0.5 R due to weird entries and trading 9 accounts, 9 contracts per account. Yeah, slow day, but tons of chop. Yeah, I mean, you did good today, Masij. I mean, the point is to close out green, right? So you had a loss, you had a win, made it right back. I would take this any day. So here are Masij's profits for the day. He ran the bot. That's kind of what he locked in. Total of 5,300, which is not bad for a choppy market like this. I mean, personally, I wouldn't have even traded this type of market, but I'm glad the bot was able to recoup its initial loss. So again, right here, guys, here's another reminder of why I don't trade after 7:15. See how it's just chopping up back and forth? This was expected, right? This is what the system is based off of. I know the chop's going to happen at 7:15, so this is why I don't trade here. The thing with this entry is it has to hit right away, or I mean, it doesn't have to, but it should hit right away, like within a 5-minute period. So here's a trade from yesterday. So our entry filled. It took 3 minutes for it to hit. See, right before 7:15. And looking at this here, this thing's been running for 1, 2, 3, 4 minutes, almost 5 minutes. Here, let's do this real quick. Let's pull up the algo. I'm curious to see how long does this trade typically run for. What time was the entry? So the entry was at 7:14, so 9:14 with momentum 60/30. So it has a 45% probability of it hitting as a 1.5%, 1.596 profit factor. Let's see how long this trade usually runs for. So the trades that run here with momentum, they typically run for about 5 minutes. The winning trades usually run for about 6 minutes, and the losing trades run for about 4 minutes. So we'll say a 5-minute average. This trade has been running for about 5 minutes now. It's a little too long. So at this point here, this trade should have hit by now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's spot on right there. So between 5 and 6 minutes, if the trade doesn't hit TP or stop loss within 5 or 6 minutes, it's probably going to be stuck there. So I'm gonna take this off, guys. I don't want you to think I'm in the position. Again, like I said, my cutoff was 7:15, so I wouldn't have taken this entry here. The entry filled at 7:16. Yeah, it looks like it's just gonna chop up for it. But again, the entry is still running. So we'll continue watching and we'll follow it, but I'm not in the position, so I'm going to take it off. I don't want you guys to think that I'm in it and then you should jump in late for like a discount or something like that. If you guys want to take it though, feel free, take it at your own risk. I would take it with low risk, probably low risk on this one because it doesn't look super great. It's pretty much flat. Here's my clean chart again. Let me go and mark up structure here. So again, there's not really much here to work with. Price is just kind of sitting here at the structure. Ideally, you want price to break below and continue climbing lower, but there's just not much here to work with. I think this is going to be a no trade day. It's not a big deal. Let's take that off. All right, Message. We'll see you back here tomorrow. CJ said, according to the algo, liquidity break and retest won't hit until around 7:25 to 7:30. That's if it doesn't get stopped out. Yeah, it's a long time, right? It's another 10 minutes. So we'll see if it holds the line. I mean, it probably will hold it, but yeah, it's a little bit of a mess. All right, while we wait for that, I'm gonna go ahead and do some stuff here behind the scenes. Look at my sports bets. If you guys have been taking the sports bets, yesterday was a pretty decent day. I mean, I've been having a lot of like kind of back and forth days where I mean it's still profitable, but the games have been like 3-1. I got really screwed yesterday. If you guys take the Magic bet with me, that was for sure rigged. If you guys watched the Magic game, it was like under 107 and it was perfect. We were at like the game was over, it was at 105 and Magic took like a random 3-point shot. Like I don't know, there was no reason for him to take the shot because they would have lost the game regardless. He took the shot and then it went in. So it went from 105 to 108 to screw up the entire under. And then what happened was they did a review of the play and then they let it stand. And I was like, fucking BS. It was exactly on the dot. It was under 107, and with that 3 points, he made it to 108, and I lost the Magic bet. But I lost the star. I won the stars bet. So if you guys do sports picks or you're following my sports picks, yesterday we were 4-1. So Nuggets won the money line. Like I said, Magic over here, it was a BS loss. I'm probably not going to do under bets anymore, it's team specific, because I feel like that's like the most rigged. Money lines are okay, so I'll probably stick to money lines and then probably totals but not team specific and not prop plays. So, anyways, Nuggets won, the Wild won, Canadians won, and Islanders won. So we were 4-1 yesterday. It's pretty good. Pretty good. I mean, the odds on the Magic bet were pretty good, so it wasn't like a huge loss. It was almost a 1-to-1, but so I didn't lose much on that. But these over here won to pretty much recoup that. So yeah, if you guys are into sports betting or if you guys are just joining in, I started a sports betting page. I basically transitioned my thought process from trading over to sports betting. So everything kind of applies risk management, bankroll management, scaling, stuff like that. And it's been pretty good. It's been pretty solid. I think we're at currently, I need to update the stats here, but we're basically at like a 75% probability, I think, or a 75% win rate. I got to update the games from yesterday, so this is going to go up quite a bit because we had 4 wins. Yeah, I'm kind of branching out into other things. They all deal with money though, so it's the same niche. It's like basically my trading mindset just converts over to sports betting. Um, I mean, that's really what it is, guys. If you guys do any type of gambling, trading, sports betting, stuff like that, it all comes down to risk management. If you can manage your risk properly, and like for example here, like I could have gotten into this trade here, but I didn't, obviously. This is me managing my risk. I know market's going to go into chop here, which it currently is. And instead of being in this chop, I'm just not in the position. So just stuff to keep in mind. But yeah, I'm running the my AI right now for the games. Let's see. I also look at the odds. If the odds are if they're too wide, I don't take them. I'll typically never go before, typically go nothing below. Damn, I think the trade just hit. So there goes the liquidity trade, guys. It was spot on with what you just said, CJ. 625, bro, on the dot, literally on the dot. Okay, about to hit target. There you go. So if you guys caught that trade right there, it's about to hit target right now. It's just gonna push down a little lower, probably break and retest. There you go, full TP. Damn. That's crazy how accurate the algo is, right, CJ? CJ literally said it's not going to hit until 625 to 735 to 725 to 730. And look where it hit, 725, exactly on the dot. So guys, again, if you're in a position, use my algo, right? If you're in a position, pull up the algo, look at what times these trades hit because they're going to be pretty spot on. So nice work, CJ. Hopefully you caught that one. I mean, you were following it. I'm assuming you caught it. That's that's crazy, right? Yeah, CJ said, yeah, y'all better put some respect in Bernard's name. Yeah, CJ has dubbed the Algo Bernard. Yeah, that's crazy. Look how accurate that was. That's nuts. So literally on the dot. Okay, nice work, guys. If you guys caught that, this was the trade I was looking for, but like I said, my cutoff is 7:15. So I don't trade after this time, but the trade did play out perfectly. You guys can see it broke and retested the liquidity right there. The entry was at the liquidity level, and then it came down. So yeah, nice work, guys. For those of you who caught it, if you guys didn't catch it, it's completely fine. Nice. CJ actually got in at 722, so at the discount right there. Perfect. Yeah, if you guys don't want to get in, so there's another way of entering these positions, guys. If you don't want to get in right at the low of the liquidity, you can always go into the next whole number. So if you wanted to wait until 750 or 970, you could have waited for it to fill a little later. Like right there, you had got a better entry. I just don't like missing the trade. So as long as my stop loss covers liquidity, I'll be willing to take it. And also, I wanted to cover liquidity because if it mitigates liquidity, that's how I know like I'm wrong on that liquidity level. So nice work, guys, on catching that. There's no daily entry. I don't think the daily entry is going to come up anytime soon. The daily entry is going to be a buy. So in order for this to come up, we would need to have some sort of structure below. So here we go. We're currently pushing down right here. Let me go and I'll just mark up structure on the higher time frames. So I'll go from the daily to my SR. I will go from the daily right here and I'll go down from this point. So we got the daily right here. Go down to the 8 hour. Irrelevant. Now it's the 1 hour. It's down a little bit. So it's currently at the 1 hour support right now. 30 minute. Um, And I hate when it's hard to draw the boxes. I was trying to extend it lower. All right, let me do this real quick. I just needed a guide here to know how far to drop it. All right, I think that's it. I don't really need to mark up the higher ones. Yeah, it's too messy now. Okay, so right now we're currently at the I think this is the 1 hour support level. So for the daily entry is going to happen around, I mean, it has to happen before 8:30. So what I would be looking for here is a strong bounce off this structure and then push up, and then we might be able to get that daily entry back up. So like for example, if you're going for 150 points, I mean, there's a lot of space here. So like the trade can play out and it can work, but it just has to happen within the next hour or so, which I don't think is going to happen personally, because it might just sit down here until FOMC. But I guess we'll just kind of wait and see if that plays out or if it works out or whatnot. See how big is this structure right here? I mean, technically, there's another liquidity break and retest here. See, for a situation like this, I would probably move the entry a little higher because it's like a little messy. So I'm probably getting at the 900 instead of the very low. I mean, either way, it's running in profit. So there's another setup right here for the liquidity break and retest. Only problem here, again, it's after 7:15. And what happens in a lot of times here is price just goes into chop. So even though this trade hit right here, I think I would be stressing. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys would be too. If this thing was going sideways for like 10 minutes, I would have been pulling my hair out like, man, I should have never gotten to this position. Not that I didn't trust the entry, but this would have stressed me out because normally it hits right away. And I don't want to be in a stressed out position. I'd rather just not be in the position at all. So, all right, we're kind of looking for this here to flip back up. Well, I don't know if we're going to get that flip back up, like I said, um, because everything here is kind of bearish at the moment. If you wanted to wait for it to test this other liquidity level right there, you could have, because I think the other one was a little smaller. It was like 12 points. I'm gonna take this off. I don't want you guys to think I'm in anything right now. But so far, no trades. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. Otherwise, we'll wrap this up soon. Let's see. Kenny said my biggest winner yesterday was under 221.5 on the Phoenix game, made almost 20 R. I don't take anything unless there's at least a 2 R value. And he uses Kalshi. Nice. Nice, Masushi. She caught the trade too. Yeah, no, solid move on catching that right there. The algo was super, super on point. I saw there was a lawsuit on Kalshi. Didn't they just get sued for fraud or something? Here, let me check. A lot of people have been talking about Kalshi. I was curious too. Kalshi's kind of it's really interesting how it works because you can trade mid-game and you could pull your wager before the trade is or before the game's done. Um, Here, let me see. I saw it on Bloomberg yesterday. Yeah. So I don't know. Kalshi might be going under. Honestly, I just thought, here we go. I was thinking about trying it, but yeah, Arizona charges Kalshi with illegal gambling operation. Because the problem with I don't know what there's like a little way to get around this. Let me see. I gotta open a private browser. Yeah, because this lawsuit's gonna really fuck it. It's gonna hurt him bad. Oh no, I can't. I was trying to get around it. It didn't let me. Um, Anyways, Kalshi, they got charged with illegal gambling because the thing is, illegal gambling is illegal in a lot of places, right? Like we're not illegal for the gambler, but it's illegal for these companies to accept wagers. Like in California, uh, like there's not sports books aren't allowed in California, so you can't take bets, but you can trade on like, or you can take the bets on offshore accounts, which is what I'm doing. I'm trading with an offshore account. Or you can have a bookie, which is illegal. But yeah, basically, uh, I saw that yesterday and I was like, damn, I was about to use Kalshi, but I don't know if they're going to be able to. So I'd be careful if you have a lot of money in Kalshi, because if they go under, you're screwed. Like your money's gone. Um, yeah, but they have a cool concept. The thing with Kalshi is that yeah, exactly. So it's a prediction market workaround. So that lawsuit is probably going to go on for a really long time because Kalshi, what they do is they revolve themselves around a futures market, like a futures broker. You're basically betting on the future, like the future outcome of a sport. Not you're not betting on the sports wager. So that's why they have that workaround. The problem is like these sports books, if they want to take these companies down, bro, these sports books have so much money, right? So they're going to keep them in this lawsuit forever and they'll probably have to stop operations in like certain states and stuff. Yeah, because like once Arizona brings a lawsuit, then California will probably bring it. All these other states are going to bring it. Um, and it's just going to hurt the company in general. But yeah, I mean, I'll probably check out Kalshi. I was asking people about it. Not too many people use it. I just have friends in Texas that use it. I'm assuming it's legal there. But I thought gambling was illegal in Texas too. So I don't know. I could be right. I could be wrong. I have no idea. But yeah, no, it's a cool concept. What else is there? Stake. But stake is an actual sports book, so it's different. All right, there's nothing here right now. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hop into the chat. Otherwise, we can hang out for a bit. Yeah, so Kenny said his highest value play for today is 221 under Minnesota. Yeah, I saw that. My highest value for today, I think, is going to be Lakers versus Rockets under 222 because it's a pretty important game. So I think it's going to be a low scoring game. So I think Lakers Rockets under 222. They typically they're both slow paced teams. So like I think they're gonna keep it below 222. I think end score is probably gonna be like 192. I think Rockets are not gonna make it over 100, and I think uh probably Lakers will be like slightly above 100. The other one is going to be Warriors at Celtics under 216.5 or 217, I guess. Yeah, as we get closer to playoffs, a lot of these bigger teams, they start buckling down. Those are the two main games, I think. Thunder Nets under 213. A lot of my high probability ones are going to be uh total team unders. So Lakers Rockets under 222, Warriors Celtics under 217, Thunder Nets under 214, Timberwolves spread. I don't like spread bets, so I'm not going to take that one. But I yeah, I'll probably take these unders. The only two main ones. Yeah, Kenny said the only thing that would probably happen is no betting on elections, that lawsuits specifically tied to election betting. Yeah, Kalshi's crazy, right? They have that stuff like you could bet on like when the war is gonna end, if Trump's gonna say something. I've seen like they've got some. Oh, I don't know if it's Kalshi, a Polygon market. That's what it is, right? Poly market. That's the one that's crazy. You see Poly market. Yeah, Polymarket is crazier than Kalshi. Kalshi is a little more, they're a little more chill, but Polymarket, you could bet on a lot of things here. It's crazy. I don't know if you guys have looked at Polymarket. I'm like I'm kind of tempted to kind of play around with Polymarket. Like you could bet on the Fed rate cuts if it's gonna happen. Let's see, geopolitics, when Yanthi is gonna be out. Will the Iran regime fall by March 31st? They've got like some crazy bets here. I mean, this is if you want to go super, super degenerate, you could go here and you could bet on a lot of stuff. It's uh, it's pretty interesting. I'm thinking about playing in this market, honestly, because the thing is, you have AI guys. If you have AI, there's so much stuff you guys can like, you can find, and it's crazy. Like, yeah, I might play around with this. Probably put like a couple $1,000 in here and just bet on random stuff, like whatever's trending, really, because that's gonna be easier to bet on. Yeah, and you can bet like in the cents. It's pretty crazy. It's cool. You can bet on a lot of stuff. I'm actually gonna play with this later today. I'm gonna play with poly. Been getting like, well, I mean, trading is always gonna be my bread and butter, guys. I'm never gonna go away from trading, but I've been getting into like a lot of different other, in a sense, gambling type markets. And as long as you have the probabilities on your side, I mean, it could really, you can make a lot of money doing a lot of different things that deal with money, right? It's it's pretty interesting. I'm like thinking now, I'm like, damn, I'm doing sports picks. I'm like, maybe I should do prediction picks. This might be even better than sports picks because there's so many different things to bet on here, and there's so many little things, like smaller things that you could bet on. I feel like with sports betting, it's there's a lot of manipulation, of course. Yeah. All right, guys. If there's any questions you guys have, feel free to hop into the chat. Unfortunately, no trades for the day so far. Yeah, no trades for the day so far. I'm just gonna screenshot my accounts here. I'll leave my hedge fund account still open for the moment, but I'm just gonna screenshot my main account or my Ninja accounts here to show you guys. No trades for the day. All right. Again, guys, if you guys are a hedge fund client, and I'll send an email out again later. If you guys are a hedge fund client, and you're not on StoneX yet, I highly recommend you guys move over to StoneX because StoneX is all the accounts on StoneX are gonna get priority. So whenever I put an order in, StoneX is gonna get their trade set first before NinjaTrader. So, I mean, you guys don't have to switch over, but if you, I would highly recommend it because StoneX is the superior platform, the superior broker. It's on the institutional side, so the fills are going to be a lot better. Um, but again, if you don't want to, you guys are not being forced to switch over. I just want to, eventually, you're probably going to be forced to switch over though. But right now, we're going to stick to both because I'm still trading my props on Ninja. The main issue with Ninja is that you're not on a block order, so your orders get filled individually. So one order can, or one per, like your order could be screwed while everyone is perfect, and it'd be a Ninja Trader problem, not a you problem, and it's not gonna be able to be fixed. Okay, so here goes my trades for the. I didn't take anything today, so yeah, here are my accounts. So profits are cool for the week, but no trades for today. At least not yet. Again, like I said, I don't think we're gonna get the buy entry here. So I'm probably gonna wrap this up around 8 o'clock anyways, just normal schedule. Um, but if you guys have any questions and want to cover anything, feel free to let me know. Steven said, bet on Steven will hit stop loss in goal. And we're gonna have to get you on Kalshi. You're gonna have your own profile on there, Steven. People can bet on what you're gonna do for the day. Is Steven gonna wake up late today? Is Steven gonna miss the live session today? Is he gonna take the breakout? Yeah, you'll be in high demand, Steven. You have to be a streamer. We're gonna see you on Kick. It's crazy. If you guys watch those streamers on Kick, they do some crazy stuff. There's a lot of, well, they don't do crazy stuff because they'll get kicked off Kick, but yeah, it's interesting. It seems like everybody's a streamer now. And there's a lot of money to be made on streaming. All right, so we got CJ's trades over here. So let's see what you did today, CJ. CJ said 10-minute algo locked in 150 points on this first one, and then liquidity zone break and retest entered later down here. Nice work, CJ. Two back-to-back wins right there. One for 150 points, the other one for 60. So a total profit of 210 points for the day. Great work, CJ. Solid wins right there. And then again, if you guys are looking at the algo, yeah. So this person over here is asking like why did they get this error? This error is because you're probably still on the May contract. You got to move over to the June contract, guys. So before you were in YMH, we're now in YMM. So we've all rolled over to the June contract. All right. Hey, so we got nothing here. Someone was asking about Lux Algo. There's a it's funny whenever people ask because I post profits and people ask me, I mean Masij is not here right now. Maybe you're here on the YouTube, but there's someone every time I post profits, they ask me what Lux Algo strategies I'm using, and I'm like, bro, none of them are good. They look good on the screen. I mean, props to Lux Algo for giving like free tools and stuff, but their paid stuff is not that great. Honestly, I was sold the dream that it would help with my trading. It actually made my trading worse because it just gave me more analysis paralysis, too much stuff to look at. Yeah, let's see. Josh said smart move. So Josh over here, he's I don't know if Josh is on here, but Josh has been tracking his trades. He realized that Wednesdays are his worst days where he loses So he just messaged me. He said he didn't even bother logging into NinjaTrader today because he knows he loses on Wednesdays. So guys, just a reminder, if you guys don't have a journal, you guys should have a journal to just tell you when you suck at trading or like when your strategy doesn't work well, because you'll know exactly when not to trade. And Josh made the right decision because look at the market today, right? Totally, he totally avoided this kind of shitstorm of a market that we're in. Let's see. All right, guys, if there's questions you guys have, feel free to hop into the chat and then we'll wrap this up soon. 7:52, so just about to be done. All right, let's see. So there's a couple of break and retests that happen right here. Like I mentioned, so there's one right here. I think this zone is too big, so I probably wouldn't have get gotten in like exactly at nine, whatever. I would get in closer to like the next whole number. So the whole number would be at 920 or 930, somewhere down the middle. There's another break and retest right there I mentioned. It took a while for it to hit, but I mean, eventually it did hit. If you got in a little lower at like the 20 mark, I mean, you'd still survive the drawdown, but again, these trades would take forever to hit. So there is yeah, there's a couple things here to like, you know, obviously pay attention to. So if you want to take these break and retest of liquidity, this is basically the strategy we would have applied if it would have happened over here earlier, but it happened later because the volatility has been kind of flat all day. So the first one happened right here. This was a full TP for 60 points. There was another one right here off this structure, full TP. Um, I mean, technically another one right here, but I wouldn't have. I think this one, the zone's too small. I mean, it's like barely there. It's 12 points. You need at least 10 points. I would like something a little bit bigger, closer to 20. But yeah, another one right there. Let me scroll up real quick, see if I missed anything here. Yeah, no, I don't see anything else here. So let me check the Zoom real quick. All right, I think this might be it, guys. Again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. Again, looking over here, a lot of these scalp entries happened after 7:15, which is my cutoff. My old cutoff used to be 7:30, but I made it tighter because the market volatility tends to die out around 7 o'clock. The daily entry hasn't came up. Again, I don't think it's gonna come up, at least not until later. But you can see over here, the cutoff is 8:30 for the daily entry. Again, the reason why I don't think it's going to come up or provide entries is because look at these candles right here. In order for us to get that buy entry, we need to have some strong bullish candles, right? Which I don't think is going to happen, not until like the interest rate comes out later. So Here's a market profile. It's currently rejecting off the value low. So, I mean, we might get a bounce up, might not. But the way that the daily candle looks, I don't think we're really going to get that push up right now, right? This thing's huge. It's pretty red. So I think we're going to close today red for the most part. Not us, but the market in general. I think for today, everyone's pretty much in the green. Masij locked in, I think, 5,000 for the day. And then, yeah, Masij locked in about 5,000 for the day. And that's about it. So, all right, guys, I think we're going to wrap this up a little early. There's just no need to really hang out if I'm going to. I feel like at this point, if you're going to trade in this type of market, you're going to make some bad decisions. So I probably would just, I would call it a day, guys. I'd call it a day. This, I mean, obviously you can see market here is pretty much ranging. So let's just reanalyze again real quick. It ranged here pre-market into market open, like huge range. It finally had an expansion right here, really small one, and then it just went back into another range. So if you trade in this type of market, I think it's really tricky because what I see here is that sellers are getting lured in as price drops lower. Obviously, we have a bunch of liquidity right here. So as soon as this flips the other way, it's going to grab the liquidity, right? And the target area that I'm seeing price to push up to is going to be opening price back to open, basically. So this is the target area that I'm looking for price to reach. So if we do get that flip to the upside, which is going to be in line with the daily entry, right? You're looking for a buy there. If we do get that flip back up, my target area for price to get to is going to be the opening price right there. So, I mean, who knows? We might get that entry come up at some point, but this lines up perfect with the daily entry, right? So if you're looking to catch this trade at some point in the future, I mean, you can follow it. Because if you do get a buy here, it's probably going to grab all this liquidity, wipe it out, and then push back up to open. So just keep that in mind. But I think as of now, probably not a good time. So I'm gonna wrap this up, guys. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Discord. Unfortunately, no trades for today, but also no losses. That's a good thing. Um, yeah, we'll come back tomorrow fresh. Hopefully tomorrow is going to be a lot more smoother. Let me check the calendar real quick to see if we have anything here. We got jobs data tomorrow. So we got jobs data tomorrow. And again, here are my stats for the week and the month so far. So for this week so far, I took one trade yesterday. I locked in 54,000. That's only half of my account. So in total, probably closer to 100. Last week, we locked in 6,600. So for the month so far, I'm up 60,600. And then for the year so far, here are my stats. I've only taken about 8 trades for this year so far. Um, yeah, so for the year so far, never mind. I was going to show you guys, but for whatever reason, it's not loading up. Okay, it's all good. I was going to show you guys, but it's okay. But anyways, I think that's it for the day, guys. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Discord. Otherwise, I will see you guys back here tomorrow for the next live session. If you guys are looking to take the daily, looks like we might get that buy signal soon. So if you want to take that, follow it, and then get in at that whole number. So probably the entry would happen somewhere around here, 950. Ideally, I think that's where it's going to happen. So I'll give you guys an update if it comes up. Otherwise, if not, we'll wrap this up. So, all right, guys, I'll see you guys here tomorrow.